So what's up, y'all? I just recently played Overwatch 2 for the first time a couple days ago here in 2024. I've been playing a bunch of it ever since. And I want to give my impressions because I'm sure there's a ton of other people out there like me who played a lot of the original Overwatch because that damn game was so popular when it first came out. It got amazing reviews. It was so hyped up around the launch, and then the way the devs handled all of the updates that came for the first year or two afterwards, it was literally one of the greatest kumbaya moments in all of multiplayer gaming history. It was just fantastic. There were constant updates, new characters, new game modes, new maps, and there were always these perfect little balance changes, intricate changes to increase, slightly decrease the viability of certain heroes, because the devs were anal about actually looking at the stats and seeing how people were engaging with the game. Everyone from the base level, casual kind of player, community level, all the way up to the pros to see what strategies were working, what was maybe a bit too viable, what characters weren't being used enough. Maybe we could increase a character's viability that counters a character who's already being used maybe a bit too often, to maybe come up with a way for players to deal with that kind of threat. It was fantastic. Tiny little changes to massive reworks to characters, the complete toolkits, like Symmetra, Torbjorn got completely changed. Mercy got changed quite a bit as well, where her res used to be the ult, and now it's just one of her abilities. And there's a lot of other situations. Bastion, same thing. His tank form used to be an ult, and that's not his ult anymore. Now that's just one of his abilities. There was a lot of little tiny changes. Diva got buffed, then nerfed, then buffed some more, then nerfed a little bit more. They increased the defense matrix. They made her missiles. Then they made her weapon a little powerful. They made her armor a little bit more powerful. I mean, they were constantly just tweaking every aspect of every character to make it just feel perfect, to make the meta feel cohesive, to make all the characters just perfectly balanced with each other and fit with the role that they were designed to fit in the game. And it was amazing. For the first couple years, it was just perfect. And of course, all of those were free. You bought the game once, and then you had years worth of free, constant updates, constant support, huge booming community, tons of awesome pros online to watch their freaking crazy Hanzo clips. Like, it was just great. I absolutely loved not only playing Overwatch, but watching the creators online talk about all the new patches, talk about the strategies they use, talk about what the pros are doing, and learn how to counter certain heroes that might be bothering you. It was so fun to just engage with everything surrounding the Overwatch media. And again, I bet there's tons of other players out there that were a big part of that for the first couple years, and just like me, maybe had other things to do, life got in the way, got distracted, kind of stopped playing it, and then here we are several years later. I wanted to play something, a multiplayer game. But frankly, there's nothing out there even remotely similar to what Overwatch 1 offered. Except, obviously, we've got Overwatch 2. I'll get more into this here, but we want to talk about the other competitors out there to Overwatch now. Of course, we've got Valorant, which is kind of like Overwatch with the characters, but it's much more like Counter-Strike. You got the bomb planting, you get to actually pick your weapons independently of the characters and the abilities they have baked in. And yeah, it's there's no tanks or healers. Very, very, very intense. One or two shots, basically enough to kill anyone in the game. So yeah, it feels more like Counter-Strike, but with heroes. Then you got Apex Legends, which is like, Fortnite or PUBG, but with heroes. It's Battle Royale. I mean, honestly, you can hate me for it, but I don't like Battle Royales. It's not my thing. So I'm not really into Apex. I know I got a lot of people who love it. Apparently very popular, good game, but yeah, I know they have other modes now as well, not just Battle Royale, but that's really the core of what's going on with Apex. And yeah, that's not really something I'm interested in. Then what else? We got, apparently Bungie working on a character-based Tarkov type of ripoff, maybe not ripoff, but an extraction shooter, but with characters. At least that's sort of what it looks like. We haven't really seen any real gameplay of Marathon yet, but apparently it is coming along and doing well in development. So hopefully we'll see something interesting from them down the lines soon. But seriously, with Overwatch, you've got the tank healers. You've got, did I just say tank healers? You got the tank heroes and the healers. That's very unique to Overwatch. You don't see that outside of like RPG kind of games, like well, of course, what Blizzard's also known for. You know what I mean? Like a Diablo type of game. Yeah, you're obviously going to have tanks and healers and DPS kind of heroes. But yeah, in a first-person shooter, it's very, very unique. But what I ultimately love about Overwatch more than anything else is the fact that all of the maps, all the game modes, it's designed to create this intense team fight. It feels almost like a chess match. Every single encounter with the enemy team in Overwatch, because you have your own team, you got all these different pieces you set up in different spots around the map, trying to establish your position, while the enemy team is doing the same thing, whether it's around the point, around the payload, or the robot, or whatever type of game mode you're playing. Both teams kind of set up, and then they sort of start to pick off at each other. And once one team makes a mistake, maybe a Zenyatta pokes his head out and Widow takes it off, boom, then that team who just got the advantage dives in and just attacks the crap out of the other team. Most likely they're going to win that fight because they have a 5-on-4 advantage. And then everyone just goes at it. It's only like 20 seconds long. And then everything dies. One team stays, one team remains, the other team dies, gets kicked back to the spawn, and then they have to reestablish themselves, group back up together to come out and then initiate another huge team fight. And that's what's so cool about Overwatch. You don't have these little 1v1. Every now and then you do. Yeah, if you're like playing as Tracer or Sombra, then yeah, you might be explicitly trying to go around the enemy the back line, finding characters who are out of position, punish them, and just 1v1 them real quick. But you're ultimately doing that in sync as the rest of your team is engaging from the front. And then you just have this really nice feeling like your whole team is just always working cohesively together as a unit against the enemy teams doing the same thing. And you're always filling in this perfect role, and when it all comes together, it feels intense, but so tasty. It's so tasty. You can't find that. At least I've not found that in any other game except for Overwatch. So I said, screw it. I know there's a lot of negativity surrounding Overwatch 2. There has been since launch. Tons of features never got released. I know there's supposed to be a full campaign mode, PvE mode. It's supposed to actually be Overwatch 2 and improve upon and add more to what the base game offered, whereas ultimately this just feels like Overwatch minus one character. Now it's 5-on-5 instead of 6-on-6, which frankly I don't like. I prefer 6-on-6. I wish they'd at least let us play 6-on-6. Why don't they have 5-on-5 and 6-on-6 modes available? Probably because they know that if they did let us play 6-on-6, we'd all like it better, and they'd be eating their own words and shooting themselves in the foot because, yeah, they said 2 years back when they released Overwatch 2 that, well, 5-on-5 is going to be better. If it comes out 2 years later that 6-on-6 is actually better this whole time, and we would have been preferring to play that, then yeah, it would make them look kind of stupid. It also makes them look stupid to explicitly prevent us from being able to play a mode because they know it would be more fun. That also makes them look kind of stupid. So, whatever. The main reason I don't like 5-on-5 as much is because it makes playing as a tank a much more important role of the team. You have to be really, really, really good as a tank player now, because you only one on your team. You don't have a backup tank. You don't have a secondary tank. I used to love playing as D.Va and Winston and just attacking the enemy backline, going for the Zenyatas, going for the Lucios, that kind of thing, just attacking the enemy healers all the time. I'd have my Reinhardt at the front to protect my own healers on my team, and then I'd have mostly free reign to just fly and harass the crap out of the enemies, constantly distracting them so they're not attacking my Reinhardt and my soldier or whoever else is sitting there behind his shield shooting at the enemy team. No, they're all focused on me as D.Va as I'm flying around trying to disrupt their backline, kill their healers, and then fly back over to my team and heal back up myself. I mean, just being extremely mobile allows D.Va to be a little freaking nuisance. But now that D.Va is the only tank for her team, if you select to play as her, then you cannot be nearly as aggressive. You got to sit there and be more like a Reinhardt and play face up to the enemy team, defend your own team. You got to use your defense matrix to protect your enemies a lot more. Whereas before, I just kind of fly around and I would specifically use that to try to eat enemy ults. And I would just try to, say if I knew a Zarya had her black hole, then I would just start messing with the Zarya. Again, just being a nuisance. Fly up on top of a building somewhere she can't get to and just fire my little cannons down at her constantly, just so she stops attacking, stops doing whatever she's trying to do, and goes after me, D.Va. That was something she was really good for. You can't necessarily do that now, because you don't have a backup tank to defend your own team. You have to use that defense matrix a lot more as if it was a shield, because you don't have a tank on your team who also has a shield. You only have that one defensive ability for the entire team. So you got to be really, really on the ball. If you have a bad tank player on your team, it's very difficult to actually win the game. And yeah, if you aren't very good as a tank, the enemy team's tank is outplaying you, you're likely going to lose that game unless you have some really good DPS or some insane healers to basically make up for it. But yeah, if you have some insane healers and DPS, then you're probably not going to be losing those tank fights because you're going to have help. You have your other teammates fighting the enemy tank with you, and either that or you'll have so much healing that you'll even just be able to outlive their damage and you win the fight. If you don't win the fight, you're constantly dying as a tank to the enemy tank or the enemy team in general, yeah, your team is screwed. You're not going to win. And that's another thing about 5-on-5 versus 6-on-6 is if you have one bad player at any role, it doesn't really matter what they're doing, it's much, much harder to make up for that. Especially if it's a tank character, but even if it's any other position, and you only have 4 other players, even if they're really, really good players, against 5 sort of mediocre players, that's a pretty tough fight to win. If that 5th person on the first team is very bad and not doing anything, they're not sticking with the team. I'm surprised to see that on PC, that there are a lot of players who don't know what the hell they're doing. They just go off as, like, say, a Reaper trying to 1v1 the enemy team. They don't group up, they don't attack in synchronous with the rest of the squad. And on PC, I was pretty surprised to see that. Yeah, on Xbox, there were a handful of players who, yeah, were playing Overwatch like it was Call of Duty. But most players really didn't do that. They would stick with the team, everyone would always group up, and they would use the communication features in the game very effectively. So I'm surprised to see that this many years later, you still have players on PC that don't know what the hell they're doing. And maybe that's just me because my aim sucks because I'm new. I've never really played any multiplayer PC games before. Might just be pairing me with the bad players to make it somewhat fair. And yeah, that's understandable. I used to play hell of a lot of Overwatch. I was really, really into this game. I took it quite seriously. I played a lot of professional, the ranked mode. I think I got to the rank 1 above gold. I remember maybe platinum or something like that. It was so long ago, I sort of forgot. But yeah, I played very seriously, but I was on Xbox. I'd say back then, at least, my aiming was very good with a controller. Say, compared to the rest of the controller-based community, everyone else playing on a controller, I'd say it's probably in the top 10 or 20% as far as how good I was at aiming. But now I'm on computer with a mouse and keyboard, and no, I'm nowhere near as good. Hey, eviscerate me in the comments for my terrible aim and AC in this gameplay. It's totally fair. I don't have a great setup either. I'm literally on a laptop. I'm like chilling in my bed, a little pillow behind me. I've got a freaking book for a hard surface on the bed so I can put my mouse down, put my mouse pad on it. But yeah, I'm not sitting at a desk. I don't have a massive gaming monitor and an ergonomic chair and the right setup. I'll definitely not. But that said, I'm still also just not very good at PC aiming. I played a little bit of Starfield, a little bit of Fallout 4, and some single-player games, Cyberpunk, on my laptop. But that's all I've really done. I've done zero multiplayer gaming on my computer, or on any computer really ever, especially not in a first-person shooter type of category. So yeah, learning to aim properly is going to be a challenge. But I'm still doing okay, and my actual knowledge of the game, my understanding of all the characters and the matchups, and basically just the fact that you want to stick as a team constantly in this game and work together. That's all you want to do. You don't ever want to try to 1v1 the whole enemy team because you will be destroyed. Simply knowing that is enough to keep me viable, to make it to where I'm still a functional and somewhat productive member of my team, and I'm not just getting destroyed all the time, except for by Widowmakers. The Widows on PC are insanely impressive. Holy crap, this is just completely different than what you'd offer on Xbox. Widows were useless on Xbox compared to what you get here. There's a Widow in almost every game now, and yeah, I understand why, because they're savagely deadly. Lucios on PC are insane too. There's some assassin level Lucios that fly around freaking bouncing off walls and come kill me even when I'm playing an attack hero or something. They just 1v1 me as Lucio. Like, what the hell? But apart from those, like random Lucios, random Widows that are like god tier, and a handful of McCrees that have been decent, some Ashes that are pretty damn good, pretty accurate. But for the most part, it's not crazy different compared to playing on Xbox. Other than those, the aiming is a lot faster, the battles are faster, you die much faster, just because the enemy team can shoot you a lot more effectively. And that's something I'm going to have to get used to here. So, hey, go ahead, trash all over my aiming. I know that it's not very good, and that's probably why I'm being placed in games with people who don't know what they're doing. But ultimately, this game still feels like Overwatch. I do wish, like I said, that it would at least offer a 6-on-6 game mode, just so we could do both. And hey, if we like 5-on-5 better, then cool. Let's just stick to that. But at least let us play 6-on-6. Let it be an option on the table. But other than that, it does feel fantastic. It's just like Overwatch, though. I mean, that's what I really don't understand. It doesn't help. Even most of these characters they've added were added by the end of Overwatch 1. There's a handful that have been added since Overwatch 2, but most of them, yeah, I mean, it just feels like Overwatch 1 with a handful of new maps and characters, which is all they were doing with the first game. I don't even know why they made Overwatch 2, especially if they didn't add all this new extra features, the campaign modes. I get it though, right? Because they sold crazy number of copies of the game right when it came out. It was $60. They sold millions of copies of the game, but then for the next 2 years, they had hundreds of people working on new characters, new maps, constantly in development, constantly focusing on all those little changes I was talking about, and they weren't getting paid to do any of this, because everyone already bought the game. Yeah, there were you could buy in-game currency to unlock the skins, but you could also just unlock the skins by playing the hell out of the game, getting a lot of loot boxes, and occasionally you'd unlock those same in-game currency from the loot boxes in the game. And yeah, I never paid a cent for any skin in Overwatch 1, but I had almost all the mythic skins for all of the characters that I actually cared to play. Tracer, I played a lot of Tracer, I played a lot of Diva, played a lot of Soldier 76, played a lot of Lucio, tons of Lucio, quite a bit of Moira as well. And Ana, no, I suck with Ana, but she's probably the coolest character in the game. I love the fact that they added Ana. I remember when they first added Ana. I believe she was the first hero they added, apart from what came in the original game. And it basically allowed Widow mains to go and play healers now. And you can be deadly as hell if you're a good Ana. And if you're really good with that sleep dart, game changer. You sleep a Pharah who's about to freaking missile barrage everyone. Oh, savage. So savage. I'm not good enough, again, at aiming to play Ana. So I'll stick with Lucio and, of course, Moira, who you don't even have to aim with at all. Literally freaking auto lock on to anybody within like 30 feet of you. So I like playing Moira quite a bit. I think I'm decent enough at doing a bit of healing and damage, but focusing mostly on the healing, unlike most people who play Moira, just want to go in and be an attack hero with her effectively. So I like to be fairly defensive. And I'm still playing quite a bit of Moira. And now lately I've been playing as Juno quite a lot. She is this cool little space girl. She's got rocket boots to let you hover around. She's got a pistol similar to Ana's gun that heals your teammates and damages enemies whenever you shoot them. It does pretty good amount of healing, honestly, and it has insane range. And that's actually about to get nerfed. As of right now, you can basically snipe your enemies from the very back of the map and never really get into any sort of dangerous position and just hang out at the very back, sniping your own teammates to heal them up, and you heal them very effectively. So they're going to reduce the range on her weapons, where you have to stay within about 25-30 meters of your allies in order to heal them fully to the maximum effectiveness with her weapon, which makes sense. She's already pretty mobile. Like I said, she's got the hover boots. You also can throw down a little ring on the ground that will boost your speed and boost the speed of your entire team. Be super useful to initiate a fight with this thing. Just throw a ring down right underneath your Reinhardt and your Reaper, let them rush in to attack the enemy team right as that moment of initiation is about to happen. It's only about a 5 or 6 second speed boost, but that can be all that matters, especially because her other ability is also very, very opportunistic in terms of it can totally change the tide of an entire team fight. She's got these little missiles that in and of themselves are pretty marginal. They do a little bit of healing if you hit your teammate, a little bit of damage if you hit an enemy. It's nothing crazy. It's not going to kill an enemy or heal and save your own teammate unless they're really, really low health. But you can lock onto all of your teammates and all the enemies at once if you find yourself in the right position to do so. And if you can hit a massive shot like that, then it can totally change the entire tide of the fight, especially in that moment. It can give your whole team a huge advantage because you give all of your teammates a little bit of healing while simultaneously damaging all of the enemy team. That adds up quite a bit. And then on top of that, if you throw the speed boost down at the same moment, let your teammates rush in to quickly capitalize on that advantage you've created, then yeah, she can be very, very useful as a support. And her gun does a decent amount of damage too. Not enough to 1v1 any attack heroes for sure, like a Tracer or especially a Sombra is a menace to Juno for sure. You gotta run away, which is why ultimately I don't mind that she's gonna get nerfed. Because I have been sticking to my teammates more anyway, staying in the group for that specific reason. Yeah, at first I was just hiding back and sniping all of my own allies to heal them up, never getting in danger. But then once a Sombra or a Tracer comes onto the enemy team and hunts me down, then I am completely screwed if I'm not surrounded by my allies. So that's how I'm going to play Juno anyway. But speaking of Sombra, she's actually getting nerfed. Now, I don't remember from Overwatch 1, but I'm pretty sure Sombra did not have unlimited invisibility, but as of right now, she does. Sombra can just run around forever invisible and do any kind of mayhem she wants to the enemy backline. And especially if you're playing as a healer, it's extremely annoying. Sombra also now has this like neural hack, which is a damage over time effect. And that I don't remember from Overwatch 1 either. And it's annoying as hell, because even if you turn around and hit the Sombra, even if you kill the Sombra, she'll hit you with that neural virus attack and kill you after she's dead anyway, or after she's already ran away. Even if you thwart her and you get her to leave you alone and run off, yeah, she'll still hit you with that damage over time, and it's, yeah, very, very, very annoying. And then she'll run off and become infinitely invisible some more. So that's getting debuffed. As of the new update, which is about to drop, Sombra's only going to have 5 seconds of invisibility, which will trigger automatically upon using the translocator. And then that locator is going to have a 7-second cooldown. So there will always be 2-second gap now between your windows of invisibility as Sombra. You can no longer just run forever, do whatever you want behind the enemy line. You can use that invisibility to cross their sight line real quick to get to the back line. Once you're back there, you can have to hide a little bit and actually be stealthy, not just rely on that camo, active camo. So that's nice. I'm glad that's going to be a change because, yeah, as of right now, Sombra is a menace, especially if you're playing as a healer. She is very, very deadly. Other than Sombra, and then maybe Venture, who gets like at least 50% of the play of the games with that stupid ass ult, like excavation initiation, like very, very annoying. Both the sound the character makes when they say the ult and the ult itself. Now, I haven't been just absolutely murdered endlessly by Ventures in my own experience, but whether it's my team or the enemy team, like 50% of the play of the games come from that stupid-ass ult. So yeah, maybe it's just me, maybe I don't really know the best counters, the best strategies for defending against a Venture. I haven't played much as Venture myself, so I don't really know their weaknesses. Yeah, I think Venture is a non-gender binary character, very progressive. Overwatch would be the kind of game to add something like that. That's cool. They're very supportive and inclusive. They've got characters from all corners of the globe in this game, which is really, really cool. I think that's part of what makes it such a phenomenon, or what did in the first place. The gameplay is still really, really good. It still feels like Overwatch. It still offers that which no other game has really done. It scratches that itch, and as far as setting up those intense team fights, it's still exactly how it feels. Yeah, there's only 5 players instead of 6. I was expecting that to actually feel more different than it does, and ultimately it does still feel exactly like Overwatch. I would prefer the 6-on-6. I've said that multiple times. I'll say it again. At least let us play it. Come on, add it to the game, put it in the arcade mode at least, just to try it out, see if we like it. If not, fine. You know, if we all say, actually, no, it doesn't work anymore because of the new balance changes, the tanks are much beefier now, so having 2 of them is just too much. It makes the game just a massive tank fest, and yeah, the enemies are now going to just sponge up all the bullets, and it's not going to be fun. Fine. Maybe that's what happens. Let us try it, though. We don't know. But let's play with 2 tanks. I miss playing with 2 tanks. Other than that, the gameplay is fantastic. Let's get down to the actual negative stuff here, all the monetization. First of all, I will say that I am not a free-to-play game type of guy. I've never played League. I've never really played any free-to-play games at all. So it's not really my thing, and I'm definitely not the type of person who would go and spend money on an in-game skin or a voice line or something ridiculous like that. I mean, I get why people do to some extent. If you really love a character, you played hundreds and hundreds of hours, you're really good with that character, you kind of want to show off and represent that you mess with that character. That's your main. So you want to get a really cool, unique skin to demonstrate to everyone else that, yeah, you're good with that character, and that's the character that you mess with the most. I get why people are into it and why they're willing to pay $20 for a skin. Again, because you're going to play hundreds of hours of the character if you really get into this game. So yeah, hundreds of hours for $20, it is fair enough. I feel like that's the sort of logic most people use when coming to that decision to buy something that's purely cosmetic, that does nothing functional for you, it just looks kind of cool or whatever. And yeah, they have absolutely gone insane with trying to take every penny they can from you. I mean, there's skins, there's mythic skins, there's mythic versions of the mythic skins that you have to unlock before you can even unlock the next level, and it's insane. I mean, it is crazy, but at the end of the day, like, you don't have to engage with any of that if you don't want to. The game's not clawing at your eyes, desperately asking for money every second, every chance it gets to. If you go into the store, yeah, absolutely, it's going to do that. Definitely. Yeah, it's trying to get you to buy all these different types of in-game currency, which, yes, you can accumulate for free. Even if you don't pay for the battle pass, you'll still unlock some stuff as you're playing through the different tiers. And I got quite a bit of the standard in-game currency just by doing that, even without paying for the battle pass. But the standard currency will only allow you to buy fairly uncommon things, like, yeah, some very basic skins and some voice lines and things like that. But any of the really fancy, unique skins, you need either this gold currency for, or like these mythic gems. And same thing, you can unlock those through the battle pass, but not nearly enough of them to ever actually use them to buy a skin just straight from playing the game alone. If you really want to unlock all this crazy crap, yeah, you're going to have to pay an insane amount of money. I think you could pay like $80 to $100 for a skin in this game if you really wanted to, just by upgrading it to like the tier 4 skin and then buying the premium version of the premium skin on top of that, the gilded whatever. But again, I don't give a single crap about any of that. There's one unique skin in the game that I might actually be interested in unlocking, which is this one for Tracer. This is what I had back in Overwatch 1. I think it's a pretty cool look with the little spray guns and her little spray paint mask on and the graffiti all over her jacket. I think it's pretty cute. Yeah, if I play this game for a couple months and maybe 3 or 4 different seasons, of course the seasons in this game are 9 weeks long, then yeah, apparently you get about 600 golden coins per season if you don't pay for the battle pass. If you do pay, you'll unlock more money. You'll also unlock the voice lines, the skins, all kinds of random crap just for free as you play through the battle pass. You'll just get all this crap given to you. But you do have to pay extra money just to, again, for every single season of the battle pass, which is, they're 2 months long effectively. And yeah, that to me is just crazy. I don't understand why people do that. I don't understand how this is actually any more profitable than what they were doing in Overwatch 1. It's the same thing. You've got skins, and you can either play the game, a whole crap load of the game, and unlock them like that, or you can pay real life money to unlock the same in-game currency and buy the skins that way. Again, I don't understand really why people would spend hundreds of dollars on skins, why this is actually bringing Blizzard in any kind of serious money more than what they already were making from original Overwatch. And ultimately, what I really don't understand is why the hell did they even make Overwatch 2? Why didn't they just add a Battle Pass type system to Overwatch 1? Like, I think people would understand. After like 4 years, we get it, yeah, you're going to have to make your money somehow. Like, just keep Overwatch 1 the same, keep adding new maps, keep adding new heroes. That's all we have here. The same thing, minus 1 player per team. And that's all they've done, is added new maps, new heroes, no real new fancy PvE. I think they did add a PvE event recently, but it was absolutely terrible. The community hated it. Because, again, AI is just half-assed and pathetic. It's not like actual campaign single-player game experience that's polished and something you'd actually expect. No, it's none of that, and we're never going to get any of that, and that's the true disgrace. What's really so sad about the state of Overwatch is because this game had the potential to be massive. It had 50 million players in the original game back around launch. 50 million players. This game could have been so enormous, and that's what I really don't understand with the management, with those accountants at Blizzard. They took a stupid, cheap, lazy-ass way out to try to make some extra money out of this thing. They see Overwatch as nothing more than a machine to sell you different skins. And that's why there's characters. That's why they'll keep adding new heroes. So that way you have a new skin to buy. But why make Overwatch 2 if that's all it's going to be? The same as the beginning, same as Overwatch 1, new characters here and there. But yeah, now there's this whole battle pass thing, and it's all monetized, and you have to get into it that way. Like, well, what the hell, man? I mean, why not just make Overwatch 1 free to play after 6 years, and then just keep innovating on that? But my whole point is, instead of just turning this game into a little skin factory, like, the IP is so pure. The IP is incredible. These characters, the design, the backstory, the lore, even though it's barely fleshed out whatsoever, there is a lot of cool history in this universe they've created here, and they could have gone crazy with the IP. It had the potential to be massive, to be everywhere. Not just Overwatch, they could just left Overwatch, the original game, as what it is. The multiplayer shooter aspect, new characters, new game modes, new updates, constant support, and leave that as what it is. That's the core of the Overwatch experience. But then on top of that, let's make another game that's the single player. Maybe it could be like an expansion pass, like Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk, like a $30 major big DLC where you get to play a couple different story modes for maybe the good guys, like the Winston Tracer story, that kind of thing. Then maybe there'll be another one where you get to play as the bad guys, like Reaper and Moira's story, and you go through that. And these could all be massive, full-fledged expansions that cost quite a bit of money. They could even be a full separate game. That's the co-op / campaign mode. And that's separate from the multiplayer Overwatch, which is still doing its own thing. And why stop there? Go everywhere with this thing. It had that potential. 50 million players were in love with this damn game. They could have made it into movies, TV shows. I mean, just blow up the IP. Focus on the IP. Something that's pure, something that's really, really difficult to create to this day. I mean, look at the movies. Look at Hollywood. We've got 15 remakes of every single movie ever been made, and that's all that any creative person can come up with. Coming up with an original universe from scratch, something that actually captivates people and draws them in, it's really, really hard. It's really hard to do. And they've sullied that by lying to the fucking fan base, by promising all this new content that's now never going to come. And no, they're not apologizing whatsoever. Their attitude is, yeah, you know what, we lied to all of you, deal with it. Yeah, we were just trying to frickin' fish your pockets out for every last penny. We had no plans of ever doing anything real and adding actual new content, making Overwatch 2 anything more than 5-on-5 version of Overwatch 1. And that's all they ever planned on doing. And they're like, you know what, but we have a game that at its core is so unique and so fundamentally different from anything out there, that if that's what you want, it's the core gameplay that Overwatch offers, you're going to have to put up with the terrible attitude from the management in charge. You're going to have to deal with that and keep coming back. So I hate the mentality of the people in charge of this game. Of course, most of the devs that originally were working on it have left Blizzard. They're not on this project anymore. The people still are working on this project are just recoloring skins. And again, maybe there are a few talented devs still employed there working on new heroes, new maps, stuff just to make the game still relevant. And those people, I'm still going to give them credit. They're doing a great job. The new heroes they're adding, like Juno, she's awesome. Definitely fits in perfectly with the game. But at the end of the day, Overwatch will now forever remain basically just some percentage of what its full potential could have been. That's all it's ever going to be at this point, is what it is now, which is at its core still a really fun multiplayer shooter game. You know, and that hasn't changed. I really, really think that they shat the bed with this one. It could have been enormous. They could have had so much more profit coming in if they'd really went all in with this thing instead of taking the cheap and easy way out. This could have been everywhere. Merchandising. I mean, the money would come in if you start with the IP and you blow that up first. Focus on the IP and all the money would have followed. This thing would have been huge. It'd have been everywhere. And it is just a shame. It's an absolute shame to see that not happen. We're, clear proof that we're not living in the right timeline or whatever. There's some multiverse out there in which Overwatch was perfect and actually achieved its full potential. And unfortunately, that is not the universe that we are living in. But at the end of the day, like I said, you don't have to engage with the monetization. You don't have to. I don't give a single crap about skins. I'd be perfectly happy to play this game and never give them a penny. And you know what? I'm going to give them a penny to play the game in the first place because it's free. You know what? So, yeah, there's a lot of negativity out there. Yeah, there's a crappy attitude in the management in charge of this game, and it's never going to become anything more than what it currently is, which is just a pretty fun multiplayer shooter game. But at the end of the day, there's no other multiplayer shooter game that has this perfectly delicious mix of intense first-person action and that just like strategic teamwork-oriented element as well. I've never seen that in another shooter game. And at the end of the day, this thing's fun. Overwatch is a lot of fun. I was expecting it to be 1,000 times worse after hearing all this negativity on the internet. And I've obviously provided some more in certain aspects. Yeah, everything people say about the over monetization is totally true. But you know what? If you're not the type of person to be suckered into buying a $100 skin, don't open the store. Don't click on that. Just play the game. The game is fun. You can unlock every single character for free. You can play as all of the heroes. You do have to play a bit of the game initially when you first start in order to unlock everyone. I think you got to play about 150 games to unlock every single hero. And if you win a game, then it counts towards 2. So yeah, within a day or 2, I had unlocked every single character. Boom, easy. As far as gameplay goes, you don't have to pay for anything at all. And the game is fantastic. It's still really, really fun. And there's nothing else like it on the market. Yeah, the people in charge, they have shitty attitude. They're trying to take every money. I mean, whatever. I guess there are people out there who really do spend hundreds of dollars on skins in this game, and that's the only fan base they currently care about. They don't care about the fact that this once was a game that attracted 50 million people. No, they don't want to blow it up and make it as big as possible in every single household. No, they just want to go after the handful of kids who have access to their parents' credit cards to spend as much as they damn well please on the stupidest crap they can think of, which is skins for the characters who they probably suck at playing. And that's, whatever. My whole point is not to stay away from this game. I am being negative, but at the end of the day, Overwatch is really, really fun, and it's completely free. If you don't want to engage with giving them extra money, don't. It's that simple. And if you don't, you still have every single element of the game at your disposal as far as the gameplay mechanics. Go ahead, have fun. If you miss Overwatch, you want to get back into a multiplayer game that's similar, well, there's nothing closer than Overwatch 2. It might be a little worse than the original, but it's still incredibly fun. And I highly recommend playing it. Seriously, it's free. Yeah, Xbox, PC, whatever you're on, it's free. But yeah, there's all this monetization. They're going to try to take your money for skins, get you to buy in-game currency. Just don't. How about that? Just don't put your credit card info into the game. Job done. You don't have to pay for anything, and you have a really fun, 100% free game to play. And as far as the gameplay mechanics, it's still tasty, it's still pure, and it's still 100% Overwatch. So, that's all I've got. I'm rambling at this point. If you're still watching, then thank you very much. And go ahead, give this game a try. Maybe if enough people get on here and actually stop paying for skins, and then Blizzard's going to feel like they are getting cheap shotted again. They got freaking millions of people playing their game, not paying a penny. And if we all collectively as a community put our foot down and stop paying for this crap, all you kids out there who got your mommy and daddy's credit card, freaking stop giving them money. Stop. It's incentivizing them to turn this into garbage, so stop doing that. At the moment, it's still really, really fun to play. I couldn't recommend it more. I was expecting the gameplay to be so much worse. I was expecting 5-on-5 to just be so much weirder and different than it actually is. It's a little worse, but it still ultimately feels almost exactly the same as before. Bunch of new maps, bunch of new heroes. It's a really good time. I've enjoyed the last couple of days playing Overwatch, definitely. And you know what? I plan on going to play some more right now. So maybe I'll see you online. You can destroy me for my terrible aim. Enjoy the rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for watching.